What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to some NHL 19. So today, a little bit of a different video. Today I wanted to go into some of the game modes in NHL. Well, I guess this one's going to be only one game mode, but I wanted to go over some of the game modes and kind of see what we can do as an NHL community to improve them. And myself personally, when I'm playing NHL, I'm usually only playing kind of 3 game modes. I play HUT, I play franchise mode, and I play EASHL. That's it. I mean, some of them I might touch at the start of the game, see if they're if they're decent at all, or whatever. Like I test them out like once, and if they're just not something I'm interested in, I just never play them. So that's gonna be the kind of goal of this. It's not gonna be a series, but it's gonna be kind of a bunch of videos of some different game modes. And today we're gonna be going into Draft Champions. Now, Draft Champions, unfortunately for EA, the idea of it is pretty decent. It looks like I was already in a game. So let's forfeit that because, who really cares? So let's just start right off with, how you can play Draft Champions. So you can play it offline against the computers, or you can play head-to-head online. So let's just pick head-to-head online. And this is where EA fails miserably. Now, I don't know how it is. It's in FIFA, it's like you pick a really good player, and then you kind of base everyone around that kind of thing, like with leagues and teams and stuff like that. But in EA, I get it. Like they're trying to have these themes to make it kind of not just whoever's in there. But it makes this terrible because you pick any one of these themes, and it's just not going to be fun. So you pick, let's just say speedster. So draft a team with the fastest skaters in hockey. Find players like McDavid, Hall, and McKinnon in this theme. First thing about Draft Champions, we don't want themes. Nobody wants themes. Because you click on speedsters, because obviously you want to play with McDavid, right? Look at the players that you start out with. And this is the first kind of the huge problem, is you start with this basic team that are all terrible. And all these, I think all of them are silvers. I don't see any bronze there, but they're all silvers. We don't want to play with silvers. We want to play with good cards. So we can some of them might be like you try them out for a later time or whatever. But then this third thing is, I guess we'll get into this a little bit more in HUT, is who the hell are these 3 players on the right? Obviously we know who Erik Karlsson is. But like, who are these other 3 players, and why are they this good? Like, we've never heard of any of these players, and all of a sudden they're the best cards in the game. So let's just pick Erik Karlsson because, I don't even know who these other 3 players are. But alright, so we got a good right-hand defenseman, right? We got 12 rounds, which means we get to pick 12 players. Now, if you guys don't know math or don't know how NHL rosters work, there is 20 people on a game night roster, like, that's going to play. Or I should say suit up at least. There might be more on the roster, but, just in the game, there is 20 players. So you have 18 skaters, usually 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 2 goaltenders. That's how it usually works. Sometimes there's 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, but whatever. In this case, there's 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and we have 2 goalies. And you only get to pick 12 of them. So that means if you start out with silvers, you're still going to have 8 silvers left. 8. So you have to deal with 8 silvers. That's what? About a line and a half of forwards, maybe a line and a half of defensemen, and a goalie. Give or take a couple there, depending on who you pick. But then you're like, all right, so you go into round 2, and it's like, I don't want any of these players. But it's not like you can really, pass over them or whatever. So let's just pick, okay, Brodin. I don't know. It's just bad. Because now we go from Erik Karlsson to Brodin. Then with the next pick, we got 2 more players that nobody knows who they are, but one guy's an 83 overall, and the only thing about him is he's super fast. Doesn't make sense, but alright. So you're a really good skater, but you can't really do anything else. Doesn't make sense. But let's pick Kuznetsov, because, we already have a right-hand defenseman, but let's get a good centerman. So, alright, so now we go from 86 to a 79 to an 88. And it's like, all right, interesting. Then we go down to, okay, so Pedersen, not even the best card in the game. For him, I should say. Like, the best card for him is what, an 88? Thanksgiving, if not higher than that. But then it's like, okay, so we need a right wing, we need a left-hand defenseman, center's kind of whatever, but let's pick Kessel, right? So, again, nothing too great right now. I mean, we have a prime-time Kuznetsov, but it's only one good player. Then we go with some more low 80 overalls. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? So I guess let's pick Morgan Riley. Instantly becomes our top line left defenseman. Then we go to more silvers. So now you start out with silvers. You pick, how many did I pick? 5? Yeah, I picked 5 golds. And now they're making me pick another silver to replace an already bad silver. Like, what's the point of that? So, does it really matter who we pick? Like, I guess let's pick a center. Like, you're making me pick another silver when I don't want silvers at all. And then we got more. 80 overalls. Nobody wants to play with these players. All these players should be like mid-80s or mid to low 80s. But these players are basically useless. And then the other thing is, you go and play against players online, and they probably have a different theme, different players, and could probably have a better team because it all depends on what theme you pick. So, it's so tough. So, it's like, I don't want any of these players, but you kind of have to pick one. So, let's go with him. Then we go to some HUT alumni. They're not icons, they're alumni. So, you go with super slow, super slow, super slow, and then Patrick Laine. Who wants to use any of these players? Nobody. Laine is like the only decent pick here because he can actually do something. So let's pick him. 75 overall team right now, by the way. So we have a top 4 defenseman, 2 right ringers, and a center currently. Again, we get to the same point. Once again, nobody wants to use these players. Like, at least give us the special cards or something. Or if you just say, okay, let's give me a Jeff Carter. If he has a special card in the game, use that special card. All these base cards are terrible. So let's pick, how many picks we got? We have 2 and 1 still has to be a goalie. So let's pick Jeff Carter so we can at least have another center. Not like we're actually going to play this, but... Alright, what's the next pick? So now we got a goaltender. Again, who wants to use any of these players? Because it doesn't matter what your goalie is, honestly, in this game, or any NHL game ever. It's just kind of random how goalies react to pucks. And then we get into, again, our best player in the team. 2 base cards, John Matsumoto, who used to be relevant like 20 years ago, and some guy that no one's ever heard of. So, why? Like, is this really worth my time to go play up to 4 games with a team that still has, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 silvers on it? 9. So now I could have picked probably a left wing, so I at least have 2 lines each, and then a goalie. But then, like I said, you still have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 So is this really worth it of playing this? No. Am I going to waste my time playing this when I could play a HUT with a lot better of a team and a lot, different players that I actually want to use and I've earned to use instead of going and playing with silvers that nobody really wants? So I'm never going to play Draft Champions because every theme is like this, right? You still have tons of silvers. Some even have bronze in them. And it's like, you don't want to use that. So that's when you'd much rather play a HUT. And then obviously you guys know what HUT is. And if you don't, then probably go look it up or something. But we'll get to that eventually. But 80 overall team, 83 offense, 80 defense, and 78 goalie. Is this mode worth it? No. Is the idea of it decent? Yeah. The whole deal of, drafting a, kind of like a random team and playing with it is great. I really like that idea. But the themes ruin it, and how the actual, it's basically just a team. No one wants to play with silvers, and we want to play with, some of the best cards in the game that we may not be able to afford on JHoyt yet. So, I guess in conclusion of Draft Champions, my final thoughts for this one are get rid of themes. Obviously, the gameplay is the kind of the biggest issue out of all of them, but with just Draft Champions alone as its own game mode, get rid of themes. Let us play with players that are actually decent. Don't have silver players unless there's a silvers only event or something like that where everyone's using silver players. We don't want to use these trash players. Let us use good cards. And obviously other than the gameplay, that's kind of the biggest complaint is I don't want to use silvers in Draft Champions. So the idea of it's great, but we don't want to use these trash ass cards. So I'm sorry for repeating myself a bunch of times, but I wanted to get the point across that of what my points were. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about Draft Champions down in the comment section below. What would you change if you were in charge of it? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.